I think definitely the industry has been developing. If we look at the growth in the last 5 years compared to the growth in the last 20 years before that, we see that it doubled, which means that the steps forward are definitely helping the industry to grow further and further. On two fronts. One of them is that it is starting to have a kind of understanding and appeal in so many different countries. Second, and most importantly, that the Sharia scholars themselves are becoming more familiar with the international economics, and also they speak now different languages. So it's not only they are enclosed, and most of the time in Islamic philosophy, if a scholar, you ask him about a fatwa and he doesn't know the answer, to be on the safe side, he would say, no, it is haram. While when he understands it and you explain to him properly, he will try to find you ways and methodology under different interpretation how it could become a Sharia compliant. So from that angle, we find the industry is growing very fast, and now it's improving. So we are trying really to show that we are not a typical bank. We would like that people aspire to work in our institution in the long term. And also we try to project that Islamic banking is not only a mini beard or just very conservative and closed. We could also be three-piece suitors and international bankers. It's creating more awareness at all levels. We all know that at some stage, particularly after the events of 11 September, there were kind of question marks about anything which is called Islamic industries or Islamic people, whatever it is. So that was a setback to the industry for a while. But then again, with the type of sums like this, definitely people will see that there are also, I mean, not everybody is quote unquote is terrorist if he's labeled under Islamic title. Although I don't know why this industry was called Islamic, because you don't find, for example, a Christian banking or a Judaist banking. It's only a specialized industry. It is very, you can call it abiding by certain rules and regulation. Started as an industry serving certain people, but it also can welcome anybody else to deal with it if it's efficient and it's profitable. We know that there are several schools in Islamic Sharia understanding, and you have several opinions. You have also the school of the Malaysian or the Far East and the Asian school compared to the Middle Eastern. So there are debates there. So it will take time before they converge altogether to have, like, sometimes one opinion about one thing. But at the same time, this is, in our opinion, if you look deep into the philosophy of Islam, this is considered to be a healthy, because you don't want people to be of one opinion, all of them. And that's the nature of the human being. As long as the debate or the conflict is not getting into the clear things which are forbidden by the Quran or by the Sunnah, then everything else around it is open for interpretation. It depends on who can really deliver his opinion more carefully or more clearly or more strongly. And now we are at the stage of basically deploying all our capital and building the infrastructure, which these days we hear always one of the difficulties is to have the proper employees in Islamic banks, because so many Islamic banks are starting not only in the region, even in Europe and in the States. So the caliber and the good people who have some experiences there have been already snatched to all of these institutions. We have two approaches to this one. One of them is that we are supporting now several educational institutions to try to develop Islamic bankers. And being in Lebanon, which myself, I'm a Lebanese, we know that we have very good educational institutions in Lebanon, and some of them, their leaders, as a matter of fact, all of them are trying to develop now curriculums in Islamic banking. And that will give graduates into this field. And of course there are universities here in the UK, but I mentioned Lebanon because they will be graduating people who speaks the Arabic language more than what you would expect to find in the UK. And they are from the culture also, which they would understand it more readily. The second approach is to take people from the conventional banking who have the knowledge of banking, and they have the creativity and innovation in structuring deals, and to put them under training programs in Sharia compliant products. And that's working very fine, because I mean, they are quick, they are smart, and they understand the business very quickly. This could be any important tool to develop economies, because Islamic banking, if really played right, it helps in stabilizing economies, because it should go into the participation of equity, which means that really it takes the same risk like the operator of an industry. And that's where the reward should come in the long term and in the future. It's not only based on interest, where one party is guaranteed and protected, and the other party could suffer from the changes of the climate or whatever it is, economic climate. So it's a fair industry. If it's understood, I think in the long term, it is a very healthy concept to really be adopted. And we believe if UK starts playing a role in the Islamic banking, or at least allow it to grow as it should be, then we'd like to be part of that growth in the future, to meet people here, create networking, understand what's going to be in the future. Especially that one of our mandates, as I mentioned, is to develop the secondary market. And if we are going to be playing that market, we want to understand what are the regulator opinion in such a leading financial sector.